Hey, this is DJ Shadow. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this cassette. I figure if you're this dedicated to my music, then perhaps you'd enjoy listening to me talk about some of the music that didn't make the Action Adventure album, as well as hearing little snippets of those songs. Many people don't realize that just like a feature film, over the course of making an album, there are inevitably little musical scenes that end up on the cutting room floor for various reasons. I think with any album or film, the idea is to head into the editing room with more than you need, and then determine which combination of songs tells the best story. When the album process started, I didn't know what course the music was going to take, whether it would be entirely vocal-led or a mix of vocal and instrumental tracks. And naturally, early on, I ended up with a few vocal demos or demos that felt like vocals would be appropriate. In most cases, I imagined rap vocals rather than singing, although there definitely were a couple of tracks that called out for a traditional non-rap approach. As always, I jotted down names of people I might want to reach out to, some recognizable and famous, others less so. But I definitely knew that I wanted to work with De La again and came this close to making it happen. Out of all of my heroes I've collaborated with from the rap world, I think the most down-to-earth and giving, and also most complimentary and encouraging has been Paz. There's never been that kind of vibe where it's like, I'm famous, who are you? Which gets so tired. Started the dialogue about working on a follow-up to Rocket Fuel, and he was engaged right away. There was a lot going on for him at the time with getting ready for De La Day, but he delivered his vocal and I was off and running with a track I thought we could do a lot of damage with.
Climb all over your behind, shake them all. When the lines cross, leave them on the vine. Beat them all. Best believe I'll be it all the time. With the audio burning levels way past 9. It's a long day coming and a marathon running that we doing gets people chewing up. Every rhyme is a part of the design that we equal.
Sadly, Dave passed away before he was able to contribute, which meant that I needed to find someone else to get on the track. Parallel to all of this was a problem clearing a sample. We just couldn't get any cooperation.
The formula to glory, but the glitter can be bitter, but the gain from the pain got me way above the quitters. If you can't get enough.
In the end, despite all of my hopes, the challenges to get to completion were just too great to overcome, leaving one of my favorite demos and what would have been the only track on the album with scratching stillborn.
If you can't get enough, make DJ Shadow cut that shit and go.
With artists in my similar age range, I typically find it easier to connect on music because if they're still active, it means they've usually experienced a lot of ups and downs over the course of their career and have some gratitude to still be in demand. It's like, oh, somebody wants to work with me, cool. And maybe there's even a desire there to make something impactful and move the needle artistically. Sadly, though, this perspective tends to be lacking for many younger artists that I've reached out to. Not all, but many. There's a lot of interesting parallels that I think about between this album, Action Adventure, and the Uncle album I worked on, Science Fiction. 25 years ago, collaborations were kind of rare, especially artists from the rock world, working with kids like me who came from hip-hop. The Gorillaz thing hadn't happened yet, for example, and I think everybody was enchanted by this idea of different scenes merging together. They bought in and wanted to deliver. Nobody talked about cash up front or any of this other stuff. Now, fast forward 25 years, vocalists are getting hit up constantly to get on people's stuff, especially producers from the quote-unquote electronic space. If I come along wanting to work with an artist instead of, whoa, really? Cool, let's do something different, let's make some art, it's usually like, take a number, and whoever's social media reach is furthest and whoever's pocket is deepest, that's the look I'm going with. The hustle and all the talk about money reduces everything to a cold, mechanical response. It's just the way it is now. The other plague of this era, in my opinion, is malaise. Maybe I'm completely naive, but I still feel enthusiastic about making music. Not just for the sake of putting food on the table, which I understand is important too, but to try to break new ground, tap into something previously uncovered, chance upon a magic combination of ideas. These are the intangible, algorithm-resistant qualities of the music that shaped me. Every album has tracks that got left behind, and by now you know, Action Adventure is no exception. I don't mind losing a track or two for the greater artistic good, but it's definitely a little harder when, like in the case of sample roadblocks, the reasons feel unnecessary. It's tough to come to the realization that this little idea you've put time and care into isn't going to be heard by anyone, but the trade-off is feeling good about the music you are putting out there. Over time, you yield to the fates and find acceptance. I've been heartbroken over deleted tracks from the past, but eventually you move on. Recording this has helped me do that, and you know what? I feel better already. Thanks for listening.